Hello and welcome. You tuned to the League Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview podcast, and we're deep into New Zealand Cup Week, 2000 Guineas Day, New Zealand Cup Day to round out what has been a cracking week down there at Riccarton and Addington. Good morning to Paul Mawadi. Morning, Paul. How are you?
Oh, very good, thanks, Thad. As you say, great week of racing.
Yeah.
And we've still got another couple of days to go. Looking forward to them.
Yeah, 100%. And a good win by Pierre. I don't want to give you an early wrap with your best bet, but Pierre was strong in the Guineas. Looked like he was going to get rolled over, but...
Tough, gritty.
It was gritty.
He never gives up. Reminds me of someone.
Yeah, no, I believe that was your best bet. Now, I feel like we're missing someone here.
We are.
Stephen Hunt.
Stephen Hunt.
Not with us.
He's been COVIDed.
He COVIDed.
He got COVIDed.
Yeah, okay, that's no good. So we're going to be lacking for a little bit of intellectual, support.
There'll be 0% of that in this show.
Well, I need you to lift your game for today without Steve, but we do have Brendan Popple standing by in his Hamilton studio. Morning, BP.
Good morning team. Yes, what a week it has been. A really enjoyable week, hasn't it? I think the racing has been top class. When you look back to Saturday, like you said, and you spoke about Pierre's win in the 2000 Guineas, which was one heck of a performance, and that day really did set up for the rest of the week. I thought the Cup Day, Tuesday, huge crowd, brilliant weather, and the racing stood up and copied that, was able to go back to back, and everything around the day was brilliant, I thought, and it just rolled into Copeland's Day, and the crowd, looking from afar, looked to be one of the biggest ones I've seen on Copeland's Day. It just gradually built, and it is that type of day, Copeland's Day, where you do need a little bit of time to, if you've been at Addington, to try and readjust and get yourself back into a line for Copeland's Day, but that stood up, and it was a doozy of a day out of Riccarton, you would say, with He's a Doozy certainly knocking you boys over for 6 with Boys Get Paid. But I think that's also added an extra element to it. It really has. And look, they've just been able to drag people in, get involved in the punt. That's what we want. We need this industry to be thriving on that and getting younger people involved. And really, there's nothing but positive things about what Boys Get Paid are doing, and especially this week. And yes, I know it's hurting for the TAB, but look, I think it's all good, positive stuff with what they've done so far this week.
Let's not forget.
Their account balance is positive.
Yeah, well, what happened across the Tasman, of course, they just came to the end of their big carnival over there at Flemington, and Rockin' Horse just showed down the straight at Flemington, over 1,200 metres. Whew.
Yeah, beating Nature Strip's no mean feat, is it? And that's twice now. Congratulations to the little Avondale team. What
Indeed.
a day that would have been. Now, look, I think we've got a substitute here for Steve Hunt, would you believe?
I don't know.
The leg ups.
There isn't a substitute for Steve.
Well, that's true. Very good point. But the leg up's #1 fan and greatest supporter, I believe, is at Addington. Show to come in, Aidan Rodley. Magnum PI. Good morning.
Morning, boys. Yeah, we're here at sunny. No, not so sunny Addington. It is freezing cold breeze. I thought we'd dress for the occasion, but maybe I've just dressed a little bit wrongly. But as you boys have been saying, such a good Cup week so far, and we're looking forward to the final couple of days. Show day here at Addington, of course, and then a massive day at Riccarton tomorrow with the running of the Barneswood Farm, New Zealand 1000 Guineas for the 50th occasion, and of course the Martin Collins New Zealand Cup along with the Stewards. All really good races, 12 race card, a bumper way to finish Cup week.
Do they give you the rest of the day off, Aidan? I know you're the hardest working man at trackside in the last couple of weeks. Do you get the rest of the day off to enjoy it?
Hawaiian themed party for me, boys, so we straight off to that very shortly. Long lunch, yeah, bit of punting and through the afternoon. It'll be good fun.
Yeah, no, it is always a good day, show day. It's a fantastic day, show day. I thoroughly enjoy it. Okay, BP, we'll come back to you. We'll try and get this show back on track. Maiden of the week, please. Where did you settle?
Oh, I'm glad he told us that there is a Hawaiian party themed that he's going to, because I think that we would have been really struggling with the fact that he wasn't going to a Hawaiian party themed with what he is wearing there this morning. But yeah, let's go to Maiden of the week. Betty's Spaghetti. Now, this was a big result for those that found $9 and it crashed into, $2.80. And the horse won really nicely. I like the way that she's been able to come out and really pick them up. I thought she was a horse that shows progression. It was a really good victory by her for the Kennedy Furlong team, and also with Daniel Stackhouse aboard. Great to see Daniel Stackhouse back here in NZ and riding at his old stomping ground, and especially with Shane Kennedy as well, where he had such a great association with. So, like the win, and I just feel as though she's a nice progressive filly going forward with how she picked up that victory. So, yeah, keen to find one out of Cup Week, and maybe she's that horse to follow in Betty Spaghetti in terms of our maiden victories.
It was strong, BP, wasn't it? I think the further the race, if the race had gone any further, she would have got further in front. She really did her best work through the line as well, which suggests there is improvement there.
Yeah, she did. And yeah, she got up alongside that horse and then took a few strides to be able to put the runner away, but really good through the line was Betty Spaghetti. So, yep, one to mark down. And I think, look, there's been a number of other good performances, even out of our North Island race meeting we had on Tuesday out of Pukekohe and throughout the week out of Riccarton. But, yep, keen to mark that one down as a bit of a follow.
Yeah, absolutely. 9s into 3s. It's not ideal.
No, and I get the feeling we're going to see a few more of those moves either today or on Saturday with the big betting pool that the boys get paid have accumulated.
They certainly got a little bit to spend, do the BGP team. Okay, let's get into the races, boys. We're going to look at 4 races. Obviously, our focus will be at Riccarton, and we want to start with the 1,000 guineas. But do you know anything about what's the track going to be? Here's the 1,000 guineas market, Paul. We'll track and run us through this market.
Well, it's a soft 5 at the moment, and they had 14 mils of irrigation over the last 24 hours. So I'm guessing they're not expecting any sort of precipitation today or Saturday. A dominant favourite here, and she deserves to be as well after that win in the soliloquy where Ryan Elliott was basically able to stand up 150 metres out and just look over his shoulder at the rest of the field. She's $1.40 and has been very well backed by punters. So Legato, $1.40 favourite there. Second line of betting, we've got Bestseller at $6. She's coming out of the 2,000 guineas against the boys. Romancing the Moon, Mark Walker train, Joshua Parr on $6.50. Stablemate, One Kiss, 18 out to $21. Perfectly suited, 21 out to 26. So Royden, $31, as is Kiki Mora. And then we've got Blue Solitaire at $41 and Kindred Spirit, 51s.
Okay, the team might bring up a bit of a speed map, BP, and you can perhaps touch on it for us, but boy, oh boy, she deserves a quote, doesn't she, Legato, off what we saw last start?
Look, she does, doesn't she? She really does pick herself in terms of what she's done leading into this race. And how the field has, fallen away numbers-wise too. So, look, she's still going to get the job done. She's drawn well. She's drawn perfectly. So, yeah, the map is interesting, isn't it? Because Romancing the Moon is a horse who really logically should just find herself in that position. She's drawn in barrier number 1. The best way for her to see out 1,600 metres would be to be able to hold that position. And then it's just around what other sort of outside pressures there's going to be. Is it O'Rourke or is it even a Kindred Spirit? Those type of horses that might come over and look to be put into the race. But Romancing the Moon, I thought with the way the horse went last time and with the barrier draw of 1, Josh Parr aboard, to be given its best chance of being a highly competitive runner in the race, you'd imagine holding that speed and may not be going that fast either. That's the other key pointer around it too. It's just what sort of pace he'll be in this race. Legato should just find that beautiful position just in behind them. You'd imagine she could be in a one-by-one sort of situation and she gets her opportunity. So, yep, she's short on. $1.40, you'd almost say if you don't like backing $1.40, you'd have to go searching elsewhere. But I think she's priced right. I really do. And she is the one that everybody will be looking to run through multis.
Is that speed any concern? I guess the lack of speed. I mean, that might be your only chink in her armour, if you off what you've touched on there.
Maybe, but I guess she's going to be in that right spot, isn't she, to be able to be close enough to what will be sort of muddling tempo, wouldn't she? And then there has that opportunity to sort of start rolling at the right timing and be given her chance to be in fresh air and be there to be able to try and run down the leader. So yeah, I'm not too concerned because she's got that likelihood of being in the right half of the field at least anyway.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll bring Aidan here and we might have a look at that dominant soliloquy win, Aidan, from Legato. And there's no Pro S, obviously, backing up from a 2,000 guineas. So, well, what can you say about this win? She really stamped her authority, didn't she, Aidan?
She was just sublime this day. She was terrific, given a lovely ride too by Ryan Elliott. That will be the query, just on that speed map. Speaking to John O'Benner at the track this morning, did head out to track work again this morning, and he said O'Riordan won her race from last, and he said they will be going back. So will not be sitting outside the leader as it would just seem to map. So, Romancing the Moon, that might be Josh Parr's best weapon, is just slowing them down. But how can they beat Legato on what she did last time out? Boys, are you opening a margin type bet, how far she wins by?
It's not a bad idea. I have not seen the specials for tomorrow, Aidan, but yeah, that is something that can certainly be considered, because we have done that in the past around some short price favourites.
Is that yeah, it could be
12 plus.
Unders and overs, yeah.
Yeah, probably be a three-way market, and we'll probably go, it'll probably be 3 or 4 lengths or more. So people tend to like the open-ended types in those sort of markets, either the low number with the open-ended window, or the high, and they don't really go for in the middle. They tend to. So look, I'll go downstairs, Aidan, and give them a little bit of a rev up down there, the trading team, and we'll see if we can get something like that open. Paul, how long do we have to talk about this 1,000 guineas? I mean, bestseller comes through that gold trail where it won well 2 starts ago, but it's hard to see anything tip Legato up, isn't it?
It really is, as BP said, the $1.40. It's been well found. What's this? We've got the gold trail here with Best. And I thought Bestseller was slightly more impressive in her fresh up when it was at Taupo, where she came from near the back of the field and just went right past them all. So we see her just tough it out here on a heavy track.
Yeah.
Look, she's great, and this is a very, very good 1,000 guineas field as well. But Legato just looks a class above. I don't even think Bad Luck will beat her.
Yeah, that's the thing, BP, for me. Like Bestseller, she was favourite at certain points throughout this futures market, and that's a heavy track. I mean, probably that Hawke's Bay Guineas 6th just put a few doubts in people's mind, I guess, around her.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, she was the early line in the sand, wasn't she, for the 3-year-old fillies? As you mentioned, she was a horse that got up and running, won the Taupo race, which we know is a good way to kick off the spring. It's been a springboard for many 3-year-old fillies, that particular race, and it meant that she went into that race there, the Gold Trail Stakes, ready to go. So she's won both of her races as preparation on inferior ground, and then slightly better surface in the Hawke's Bay Guineas at Matamata, where she was beaten into 6th position. I still feel as though that she does have the right sort of class, though, to be right in this race. And where did she sit? $6, second favourite. Romancing the Moon, $6.50. I thought there was maybe a chance here that you look towards power plays. This could be the way to play the race. If you're thinking 140 is too short, but you want to involve Bestseller or a Romancing the Moon, wait for those power plays to come out. I'm sure there's going to be a Legato to win top seller, Bestseller top 3, Romancing the Moon top 3. You could find those sort of power plays, and they might be in that 180 to 210 zone, or you look towards exactors as well. Just had a quick look at the exactors here. You've got Romancing the Moon to run second with Legato to win. That's $4.10 and $3.80 for the Legato Bestseller exactor. So there are a couple of different ways of trying to work around the race if you're not a fan of the $1.40.
Yeah, okay. Is the drawing track a concern for you around Bestseller, Aidan, because she was so good in those 2 runs prior?
Oh, well, she's had that exhibition gallop last Saturday and she looked good. Seen her at the track this week. She's come down early to prepare and she's been hitting out really nicely. I think she's the logical danger to Legato, if we can call them one. And then you've got the Tiako pair of Romancing the Moon and One Kiss. If they come in their best form, and Geez, I'd love to see Riccarton run a terrific race. The colours I wore once, boys, that's the Ashburton Celtic colours. The team were all behind. The green with a harp, so be fantastic for connections, who I will be long lunching with today to see Riccarton go well.
$31. She had a Shamrocks. I remember Shamrocks. Aidan, the dam of O'Riordan. She was a good mare as well.
Yeah, she won her first 5 straight, then ran, I think, 5th in a Copeland's Bakeries mile at just her 6th start, and the boys have been breeding from her since. Cade Mellifulture and a few like that, and they've had a fantastic sales story as well, where I think Shamrocks might have cost them $6,000 being a Pyrus mare, and they were able to sell one for a couple of $100,000 at Karaka at the yearling sales as well. So they've retained this filly, and I hope she can run really well for them as well.
Yeah, so O'Riordan, you're a roughie. If you need one for your back end of first fours and the like, you think it's in commission? Is there anything else down the page we need to be including?
Maybe One Kiss. She was good in that exhibition gallop, gave Romancing the Moon a 4-length start and was on terms with her at the end. That track last Saturday was pretty hard, might be the concern, but she'll be ridden off the speed as well and go chasing. I think there might be a few jockeys here who, I know you've got to try for this 1,000 guineas win, but second is open. Maybe that's bestseller's position, but outside that, there'll be a few there wanting to get that Group 1 placing for breeding resumes down the track.
Yeah, you make a good point. Pretty valuable if we can get some Group 1 placings. Any roughies here, Paul? Anything I can spice up my exotics with, or are we just around that? A bit of a jump from the top 3 there. Back to One Kiss, who's the 4th favourite at $21.
Yeah, BP hit the nail right on the head, I think, when he said power play. And so looking for Legato to win and then someone to finish in that top 3 or 4. And I think One Kiss, I'll forgive the last start, but that was a very, very good win in the Canterbury Bell. So Legato to win and One Kiss for a top 4 finish.
Could be quite juicy.
Maybe. See if your boys can sort that out.
I'm sure. I've got a bit of homework. You lads are giving me homework to do. BP, you've sort of alluded to which way you'd be attacking this year's 1,000 guineas, haven't you?
Yeah, the one thing I'd say around that One Kiss performance when winning the Canterbury Bell Stakes, you would have to respect Perfectly Suited with how that horse ran on that occasion too. Was one of the eye catchers from well back in the field and was able to rattle home, into 2nd position 3 starts ago. So, that's if you're liking One Kiss, well then you'd have to say that she's probably somewhere in that same bracket also is Perfectly Suited. But yeah, I think Legato, Romancing the Moon, Exacta sort of gets me at 410, and then looking at those power plays around Bestseller and Romancing the Moon with Legato on top. So yeah, I'll certainly be scanning the TAB website once all those power plays come out. What will it be tomorrow morning?
Yeah, absolutely. Aidan, if we're having a bet in the 1,000 guineas, what are we doing this year?
Just take Legato. I think 140 is real value. Just one point around the race as well is the Anna Furlong, Shane Kennedy team. To get 3 runners into a Group 1 race like this, a third of the field, that's some feat in itself. But from a betting point of view, it all goes on Legato. And what we were talking about yesterday, a boost, boys. What do you reckon? You going to boost the price?
Let me check my notes. You've jumped the gun, Aidan, as you can do, but look, I'll tell you what, we'll save it for the end of the show, but maybe...
Keep watching.
Yeah, wow. There we go. It's a teaser. Very good. I'll take it all back, Aidan, that was perfect. The Twitter poll may include Legato, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, guys, well, pretty straightforward 1,000 guineas in many respects in terms of a short price favourite that looks awfully hard to beat. Well, forget that in the next race, Paulie. This year's New Zealand Cup, race number 11 on the card, and wide open this one.
Certainly is. We've got a $4 favourite as well, Starry Bill. Opened up at $4.50, now into $4, has seen some support. The second line of betting, the dummy Myers train LJ, $4.50. In My Shadow, $8.50 out to 9. Monderani, the stablemate of LJ, $12 into 10. Finest Wine, 9 out to 10. Hit the Road Jack, ridden by Ryan Elliott, 11 out to 13. Jack Knows Best, 11 out to 13 as well. And we've seen a wee bit of specking just a wee bit further down the market. Daytona Red, 21s into 16. Oh So Savvy, 26s into 18. Herself, solid at 21. Leaderboard, 26, as is Bodes Well, and Lettram Lad, and Monoa Law. And then we're 31s and out for the rest of the field.
Just keeps going and going, doesn't it? Got a few emergencies to come out of here, Pops. And look, obviously the Metropolitan form, and the team may bring the Metropolitan up at some stage when you're having a chat about this early market. But look, Starry Beale and LJ were pretty good on the first day, weren't they?
Look, they were, and we spoke at length about this race last week, providing, you would imagine, the right stepping stone. And you would have to say that without these horses winning a $100,000 race, they must be bouncing out of that very happy with the position they were in coming into this New Zealand Cup. Their target race, LJ's target race, Starry Beale's target race for the early part of this preparation before looking towards other Cups races. And Jack Knows Best, who ran a solid race in between runners here between Campionessa and LJ to finish into third position. So everything about the Metropolitan, I think, was what the owners of those horses having target races next Saturday, tomorrow, was bang on song. I really do like LJ. I have been with him throughout this preparation. It just looked like it's been a very well-timed campaign with how he's gone about his preparation leading into the New Zealand Cup. I thought Starry Beale was unlucky at the wrong time and then had to come out and then did its best work late. There were some good runs in that race, though. If you are looking at roughies, and you'd have to say Monderani, last year's Cup winner, wasn't the worst, down on the inside there. He didn't get all clear favours, did he? Did Monderani. Herself needs some scratchings, finished into 5th position. So there's enough to take away from that to say that that's your guide for tomorrow's race. Away from that, I thought In My Shadow, it looks to be tracking nicely too, doesn't it? This one for Ashley Meadows is a horse who seems to be on the right track towards the New Zealand Cup. But yeah, as I said beforehand, team, I've really been in LJ's camp since this campaign has started towards the New Zealand Cup, and I'm not going to get off now, and that was good enough to what I saw last week to say that he can win the Cup.
Sounds like Pops may have a futures ticket on LJ to me. that sort of chat.
You're thinking one ticket.
I was only thinking one. You forget one. Aidan, look, the Metropolitan form obviously strong. There's a little bit of form outside of that, and In My Shadow, and also Finest Wine, who was strong last start. Which way are you leaning? Some of that new form, or do you think the Metropolitan's the way to roll here?
I love the fact that they're coming through the 7-day backup, and I do like that. As long as they've come through the race okay, and by all accounts, talking to connections at the track, all those horses have. I thought Starry Beale had to be the horse to beat. Here's a horse who's run second in a Wellington Cup, so proven at the distance. The performance last Saturday couldn't have been any better because it was just tucked in behind them, coiled up, and not completely used up. And that was just through circumstances. So they would have wanted to have won that race, as BP said. There was decent money on offer. Obviously, there's a couple of 100,000 more up for grabs this time round. And that's where you look to those big stables. Stephen Marsh, Michael McNabb, liking it from barrier 3. He'll do no work in running. But then the Myers pair. LJ was very good in that run, covered some ground and still hit the line strongly. And Monderani was just held up at a key point in that race, and we know what he did in last year's Cup. So another horse who's proven at the distance, and he'll take some beating as well. Those are the three for mine, but I'm with Starry Beale on top.
He deserved one. He deserved this, wouldn't he, Starry Beale, Aidan? I mean, as a bridesmaid, he's been a very, very good horse. He's won 6 races, but he deserved a decent scalp like this, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he does. Obviously, the strike rate's not convincing. He's only won 6 of 43, but I think this is the time, the right distance, the right preparation, and we'd love to see him pick up this $300,000 race. The Go Racing team have had a lot of success at Riccarton, and Stephen Marsh, I'm sure this is the one that he's targeted for quite some time.
Your trainer, Stephen Marsh. What are you thinking, Starry Beale, or can we go somewhere else here?
I really do like the look of Starry Beale.
So I knew you were going to say that.
Well, if you have a look at that top 4 finish in the Metrop, he got bumped coming around the turn, had to come off heels in the straight, and still recorded the second fastest last 200 split. So he was absolutely flying at the end there. We know he'll get the 2 miles with that placing in the Wellington Cup. I love the way he finished off, and with Nabaron from the 3 gate. I think he's going to get a dream trip.
Yep. Anyone else?
Yeah, probably Monderani.
Boys, I'm starting to smell a rat here with this Monderani. I'm starting to think that maybe that was just quietly back on the rail there.
A very nice, quiet run in the Metropolitan. Yes. And I think Dummy Myers got him set perfectly here. So I've got those 2 on top. Wishing BP all the best with LJ.
BP, I think we're going to have a look at Finest Wine, winning and rating 75 at Pukekohe. What do you do with Finest Wine and In My Shadow, without that first day run?
Yeah, it doesn't concern me too much. As I said, the obvious form reference is the Metropolitan, but they both bring really good form lines, don't they? And they've decided to continue on with Finest Wine. I know the team were looking for some forgiveness in the ground. Look, the fire's going to be out of the track at least, but they were hoping naturally as well that it would happen, it would maybe get into that heavy bracket for her. But she just is in a really good space at the moment, Finest Wine. This was a top win out of Pukekohe Park last time out on Melbourne Cup Day. So, yep, good on them for having a go. She's in the right sort of form. And In My Shadow, again, just seems to be one of those horses that's been targeting this particular race at New Zealand Cup and looking a good strike rate in terms of this campaign. Has won 2 from 5 this preparation for Ashley Meadows. The horse I do like as a roughie was actually in this Finest Wine race. And Paul mentioned it as a horse who has had some support, and it's Daytona Red, number 8. Now, this horse was pushing forward, took a long time to eventually get to the front position in that race. If you go back to 2021 and the one start that he's had over 2 miles, he finished 5th in an Auckland Cup. Now, that was in behind Ocean Billy, Charles Road, Sound, and Platinum Invader. And Daytona Red finished into 5th position in that Auckland Cup. So he's been beaten in behind 4 very good stayers over the 2 miles. That was a searching run at Pookie, but it might have just put him in the right place for Saturday's race. I thought he was a good roughie at around that sort of $16, $18, $20 mark, a must for first fours, because there is going to be some horses that you want to be searching for in your first fours, and he's one that I'd be keen to have something on as a top 4 investment and throw into a power play or something like that. So whatever's available around Daytona Red, I'm keen to get around.
Yeah, okay. What about Jack Knows Best, BP, before we move to Aidan? Tough effort.
Yeah,
Tough effort for second. It's been maybe a little bit forgotten.
Yeah, it could be, because, I mean, look, the horse comes out of the right race and was right there when the whips were cracking, weren't they? And look, is drawn the outside gate's going to have to just try and find a spot there, but you got the right man aboard and Daniel Stackhouse, and look, hovering around the $13 quote. I know Aidan likes one that's on the ballot, so we might as well get to him, but Aidan, what's the chances of herself getting into the field, first of all? And I know that you like what you've seen with this runner coming into the Cup.
Yeah, I've seen her sort of every day this week, basically, and she looks great. She's moving beautifully. Her training has been absolutely first class. Her run in the Metropolitan was really good last Saturday as well. I've spoken to a few connections. I thought maybe Brooke Byrne was the most likely not to back up, but speaking to Michelle Northcott today, I think they're all A-OK to go ahead, so yeah, it's looking a little bit tough. And then you go to the backup race, the 2,500 metre race on the card, and drawn 20, so not ideal. But I think she's a chance whichever way she goes. And like you say, BP, you're searching for that top 4 contender, and so that's where I'd be putting her. I'd certainly be anchoring around the top 3 in betting, or certainly the top 2 in Monderani. Really liking Starry Bell in this year's Cup, though.
Yeah, okay. Herself, is that E1, Aidan? Is it E1? Herself just needs one.
Yeah, just needs one out, one horse to come out, and obviously in an 18-horse field, there is that chance they'll be sweating on getting that one scratching to let her into the race.
Yeah, okay. It's a very sneaky 5th in that race, Campionessa's race. Aidan's around the top 2 in LJ and Starry Bell. Which way would you be attacking this year's New Zealand Cup, the big handicap over 3,200 metres?
Yeah, I really like the look of Starry Bill, so he goes on top for me. I'll take the $4. I'm very happy with that, unless we boost it. You let me know.
Hang on. Okay, back to my sheet. Okay,
yeah,
no, carry on.
Yeah, and then Monderani for a top 3, currently $3.30.
Yeah, okay, $10 Monderani. BP, you give me a couple of roughies there. How would you be betting into this year's New Zealand Cup?
LJ to win would be my option here, and I just think that 17 starts, young horse that's just building nicely. It's been a campaign where, it's been unlucky a few times. It has been unlucky a number of times, but there's just been that one goal in mind. And when you've got KT Myers with that goal in mind, of course he won it last year with Monderani. I'm happy to be in the camp of LJ for this year's Cup.
Okay, LJ, the boys hovering around the top in this year's New Zealand Cup. Daytona read the roughie for BP, and herself, if it can make the field for Aidan, could be some sort of chance out there at $21 after that good fifth in the Metropolitan last Saturday. Okay, half time in the show. No minute with Moati this week. No,
we're much better. We've got a much better intermission.
I believe, Aidan, you may have a guest with you there on the leg up. Introduce who you have with us down there.
I do. I've got Luke Kimmys with me, and Luke, some sort of week, and I know that it's like a surprise. We're going to get someone in. Who are we going to get? Well, in the studio, Thad Taylor, Paul Moati, those guys, they're turf. They're toast next week. They're going to be turfed out of the office. What have you been doing to them?
It's been a long time coming, but hopefully we can keep the pressure on. And I feel a bit bad to apologise, so I definitely won't be doing that. But this is going to be a tough day here today with a little bit of wind in the background. But the harness boys are up for the fight again, and then. Of course, a big day at the Gallops tomorrow, but we've been going all right so far. The harness boys have been holding their own, and then obviously we had the big crack at He's a Doozy on Wednesday, which
just tell us what was that like? What was it like cheering him home with such a big bet on him?
Yeah, it was pretty cool, especially with just so many other people getting involved, and there was just so much talk about it, and obviously people having single bets, and just seeing the price get caved in and stay there, and not drifting back the other way, which was good to see. So it was a good indication we were on the right one, but felt really cool, yeah.
Yeah, and did you hear Lisa Latter afterwards saying that she felt real pressure because of that bet?
Yeah, I actually interviewed her quickly before, and I thought, should I actually feel a little bit bad for her, because she seemed pretty bloody nervous.
She did. So the harness boys, they're going to have a go today. Have you sorted out your bets yet?
I've left that to them, but they do like a couple today, so hopefully they can get those home. They went down to cash birding yesterday and took home a bit more cash as well, which was good to see.
Yeah, these boys are shaking their heads back in the studio. Geez, you've hurt them.
Yeah. Well, 2 days to go. It's a test match. Yeah. We know how punting can go.
Okay, yeah, boys. Anything you want me to ask Luke while we've got him here? Ask him to take the foot off your throats or not.
I want all his bets listed for the next 48 hours, Aidan, so we can roll him in a few rolls, because they've been getting some fantastic value.
They want heads up early, so you let them know so they can shorten them in before you get on. I think, can you do that or not?
No, we want to go the other way. We want Legato $1.70. Surely you put $1.70 up on a boosted price, wouldn't you? We'll see if we might have a small bet, $5,000 or something.
Well, by all accounts, they were talking about a Twitter poll. Get all the BGP guys on the Facebook getting onto that Twitter poll, and because correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but if that Twitter poll comes out top, then you do boost it. Is that the case?
100% correct. So the top 2 runners will be boosted, 100%. Aidan, and look, I'd suggest
you... Oh, you're going to boost it 100%. Brilliant. Yeah, I thought $2 was a fair price. I'd love to see that, boys. Thank you.
Look, I can tell you I'd be very surprised if Legato
I actually don't know. Someone's got a nice spreadsheet rolling around, and I was just flicking through it before, but I don't know what the exact figure is. But if you want to find out, it's in the BGP app and, of course, in the Punters Lounge as well. So we've got a 1 bet live for today at Awapuni, but we'll be loading into the harness a bit later on today here too.
Be nice to go $500,000 up for the week.
I'd say so. Wouldn't mind hitting that $1 million mark, so that's the target.
Okay, well done, Luke. Congratulations and best of luck for the rest of the week.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Good luck, boys, in the studio, eh? 2 days to go.
Thank you to Luke Kimmys. Good sport, and they're having a heck of a lot of fun down there, Paul. Not going bad, are they?
No, they're not. And he said it was like a test match. I think it's more like a heavyweight bout. And Luke and the BGP boys have knocked you and your merry men down a couple of times, but you've got back up off the mat.
Well and truly on the ropes.
And you're hoping to strike back either today or Saturday.
It's been great fun, BP, hasn't it? With the boys get paid. They've had a great week, and they're having a bit of a go, aren't they? Which is great to see.
They have, and let's be honest too. They have a strike rate of being successful in this punters club. This is not a one-hit wonder. This has happened beforehand, and that's why the pool just keeps getting bigger. I mean, they had $200,000 plus to work with here, so there's a lot of people that have got involved. I know there's some workplaces that actually got involved by putting some money in as a group. That's how they said, right, the boys get paid, they've got a syndicate going, and they actually did their work syndicate by all piling in some money and putting it into this, the boys get paid syndicate as almost their Christmas fund sort of thing. So look, there's been those sort of stories I've heard. So as I said at the top of the show, it is a positive, it is a massive positive for the racing industry to have these young people involved. Look, I can see my own two boys getting involved and boys get paid very shortly. I can just see it. I just know it's going to happen. So it's just great for the game.
No, absolutely. Now, we better let Aidan, I hope Aidan's still with us. Aidan, are you there? Thank you for joining us today. We better let you go. You look like you're champing at the bit to get to this Hawaiian party, so have a great rest of the week. You're obviously having a bit of fun down there.
Yeah, it's freezing here today, though, guys. I just want to just back up what BP said, because they really have reached out to a new generation. That's what we want, the new generation of punters coming through. So all those bets are going through those mediums that reach those guys. They're on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're putting the Twitter bets out as well, and they're really promoting it well, and hopefully that is the new generation coming through. Certainly we all know someone who's got involved in the syndicate and the ride they're having, because every single bet they're able to cheer home with them, and they are having some success. They've obviously got some pretty good analysts who are doing the betting for them, and while it might be hurting us in the short term, we're hurting you guys in the short term. Certainly the long term, the long game is what we're wanting to play here, and I think BP's bang on with this, with those comments.
Yeah, no, exactly right. It is all about the long game. And thank you, Aidan. Remember, you've got a day to go. You'll be at Riccarton tomorrow, so just pace yourself this afternoon, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, the good thing is I'm just on the interviews tomorrow, so we've got the team of Bevan Sweeney and Lee Thinnis doing all the form, and looking forward to just taking it a little bit easier tomorrow. Although 12 races, it's going to be a marathon, isn't it?
It's actually, they haven't left us wandering, the analysts, with their 13 and 12 race meetings. Thanks, Aidan, for your time, and go and enjoy the rest of the day. We really appreciate Aidan's efforts, as always, and to join us as a late sub for Stephen Hunt.
He deserves a cocktail with an umbrella in it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he does. And so does Luke Kimmys. Thank him for joining us as well.
That was fantastic, yeah. And the battle continues.
You're a fan. You're a big fan, aren't you? You love me seeing him rolled under the bus, don't you?
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, you wouldn't know it, but behind the scenes, on the trading desk, Thad's face just drops when the BGP get one up. So it's been great to see.
It's been great to see. Very good. Okay, just the type 3 left. We've dropped Aidan for the second half of the show. We've got a couple more races we do want to have a look at, and one of them is the Stewards Stakes, the Lindau Stewards Stakes Group 3 race number 9 for the sprinters. Obviously, Paul, run us through this market.
Yeah, no, lovely market, isn't it? Fairly wide open. We've got a couple of joint favourites. Opening favourite was Can I Get an Amen? $4.20, now at to 4.5, and that's joined by the Pegasus winner Linker's Cruise, $5 into $4.50. Buoyant has seen a bit of support, solid at $5. The Pitmans have got OK Pow, 7's out to 8. Korpua, $8.50. Burgundy Rose at $9. The stablemate Chala, 13's into 11. Rockland, 13 out to 14, now into $12. Golden Harvest, 14 into $13. And then we've got 31's the rest.
Okay, BP. It is a wide open market, and obviously that Pegasus Stakes form does look the form, but then we get chucked a bit of Can I Get an Amen to make things muddy the waters ever so slightly. But this form's important here in the Pegasus.
It is, isn't it? And of course, with the Stewards going to the Saturday now, and it used to be on the middle day, didn't it? The quick backup from the Saturday to the Wednesday, and I think this is the right form reference, isn't it? Lincoln's Cruise was really good here on this occasion. Of course, he does stay with the 53 kilograms, but a couple of horses just get in a better spot in the weights here on Saturday, and that includes Rockland and also Buoyant, who's finished second and third. Look, they get a swing in the weights of a kilo on Lincoln's Cruise, and that might be enough to suggest that they are a strong chance in the race. I really do like Buoyant with the way the horse got home into third position over the 1,000 metres with Michael McNabb taking the ride on Saturday, and goes up to the 1,200 metres. So that was the horse I sort of identified as a really strong player in the race. Lincoln's Cruise, though, from the right trainer and Lisa Ladder, what a carnival she's had, and that really might just continue on for her throughout Saturday too. Can I Get an Amen does bring a lot of class to this race, doesn't she? And she's a horse that is drawn in barrier number 1 out of the Guy Larry barn. She comes here with a trial under her belt. She is a good horse, and I think she's won the 4 from 20, but she's a quality sprinter that can be right a part of this race. And off the back of this, with what she did here in her trial, which was in the early stages of November, I can see why she is the favourite. But I'm just going to lean towards Buoyant in that Pegasus form for Saturday's Stewards race, but have huge respect around what can I get an amen in terms of certainly being in that top 4 selection.
If you were watching in that last 10 minutes, BP, which I'm sure you were last Saturday, around Buoyant, and those that are starting price aficionados, which I think you need to be to some degree, there was a stack of money for Buoyant late, and he sort of lost it at the start, didn't he? But boy, if you've got to respect that late cash, don't you?
I mean, that was incredible, the amount of money that came for that horse. To start favourite from, what was the high? Was it tens? Was it somewhere?
Somewhere around there, Pops, yep.
Yeah. So a flood of money to say that the horse was ready to win last weekend. He's run super. He's run into third position over 1,000 metres. Didn't get it right at the start. A chance to get it right here in a Group 3 Stewards. So, yeah, huge respect about what they were trying to do last week, and maybe they can back it up. Unfortunately, you're just not quite going to get that high price like you did last time out, but what did it open at $5 for this week's race?
Yeah, and already the best back runner, Buoyant, Paul. But who have you got? Who do you like?
There's a couple I like here. Not surprisingly, the favourite, well, one of the joint favourites, Can I Get an Amen? I really like it. She's got a good fresh up record. She beat Burgundy Rose over 1,200 metres.
Yes.
She had a lovely, top 4 in the Telegraph.
Yep.
In behind the likes of Levante and Rockin' Horse. We've seen what they've gone on to do.
We have.
I'm glad that we're getting a wee bit of a drift there. Got the one alley, Craig Grills. Let's pay some bills.
Well, what about Lincoln's Cruise? Because as BP quite rightly points out, Lisa Ladder is absolutely flying, and she's bought these horses that have been in sort of that 75 grade and stepped in the open handicaps, and I'm thinking of He's a Doozy, and obviously Lincoln's Cruise as well, and they've stepped up big time, haven't they?
They certainly have. She has trained them absolutely perfectly for this carnival, and she's reaping the reward. So I can see why there's been a wee bit of action on Lincoln's Cruise now into $4.50. The other one I like the look of is OK Pal out of the Pittman barn.
Yeah, what do we do with it? What do we do with it after last start?
Look, been away tardily the last 2 or 3 starts. So
if it can get out with it.
If it jumps, then I think that $8 looks like a wee bit of value. So I'm happy to take a wee bit of a plunge and have a little stab on OK Pal, but I really do like the look of Can I Get an Amen at the top of the market.
Okay, the other horse I want to touch on, BP, is Kopua. Came to Riccarton last Saturday, and they got the chocolates big time. Steps back from 1,400 to the 1,200, but we know if anyone can manage that, it's Kevin Myers, and Kopua was strong off a wide run.
Gee, wasn't he? I mean, almost one of the wins of the undercard, really, on last Saturday's program. That was some win, wasn't it? And I'm not too put off by the fact that this horse is coming back to the 1,200 metres. This should be a really strongly run 1,200 down the chute. This is a contender. This has to be a contender with how this horse won last time to the races. And we all know that he's been desperately unlucky, and he's been one of those horses you just had to find the right race where he was going to be. Last Saturday was obviously that right race that they targeted for him. Why not? Why can't the Stewards be that race now where he can run a big race on the weekend? I've got him in my numbers purely on what he did last week and him coming back to run a strong 1,200 metres. I think he's a smoky in the race, is Kapua, and he won't be missed. I'm sure there'll be supporters for him. He's out of the right barn with Tena Komanyahi aboard, so yeah, big respect around him. This is a good race. This is a really good sprinting field, and we haven't even mentioned the two at the top of the book in Burgundy Rose and Chella. Of course, Burgundy Rose was beaten by Lincoln's Cruise and the Pegasus, and Cello. They both went there with really good form lines, didn't they? Out of the north. Burgundy Rose obviously had been campaigning down there and had run solid through her first couple of runs, and Cello backing up those form lines with how that horse has been able to win the first two starts back this preparation. So, you know, you're not mentioning those horses. OK Powell could get out to $9. I mean, you spoke about Buoyant being a horse who was really tight in that market last week. Well, OK Powell went the other way. I mean, he was early money, fours into 360, and then he went stone cold. He got out to $10. So it was just the way that market flipped around, and in the end, he ran to his price, didn't he, OK Powell? And Buoyant nearly ran to his price because of the movement around the marketplace. So, yeah, I think this is a lot of moving parts and a really good sprinting race.
Yeah, it just shows you, if we're, glossing over the Tiaki up here, there is a decent strength there. We haven't even touched on Rockland, who was a very strong second last Saturday, and he's out there at double figures. So that just goes to show the depth we've got in this one.
Yeah, too right. And you can see why Can I Get an Amen is the favourite for what the horse has done, has run fourth in a Telegraph, and look, fourth in a race that has stood up because the winner of the race was Levante, second was Rockin' Horse. Well, they've then run first and fourth in a Newmarket and also last weekend in a Champions Sprint. So that in itself is unreal form lines, really, isn't it? With this horse finishing fourth in that particular Telegraph. So deserves to be favourite, but I'm sure you can see why people are looking to go shopping around because just with the quality of field that we have in front of us.
Yeah, 100%. So you were Buoyant in summation here. You're going to follow the money, and I don't think it's a bad call.
Yeah, I do like Buoyant. I just was taken by how the horse ran last week. Can I Get an Amen's right there, though. So close to making it top selection, but I'll go with Buoyant just in front of Can I Get an Amen and Kapua as a horse. I do like in that sort of top 3 or top 4 market.
You're going to trust the Lowrys with Can I Get an Amen and your man Craig Grills?
I certainly am, yeah. On top. I'm getting the feeling that this could be a huge day for the BGP boys. Cause,
can you stop it?
Well,
what are we still going on about that?
I just had a look at their balance as well. They're up over 400.
Yeah. We don't need to know that.
How good are they going?
Yeah, they're flying. They're having a great time, and they were having a good time in Ashburton yesterday. They're everywhere as well. They're sprinting it. They had big betting at the Dogs last night. They were getting stuck in there, so they're leaving no stone unturned. And,
you know how they do those NRL docos? You know, they had Tiger Town and things like that. They follow them around. They should have one of those docos follow you and your boys around on a Saturday when the BGP boys are having a royal go.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. They would make for it'd be quite colourful potentially.
You want to hear the language on a Saturday here, guys.
No, don't listen to a word he's saying. Right, let's get back to the racing, please. One race to go, team. Tauranga, I love this race. It's race number 8 on the card, and it's the Gartshaw Tauranga Stakes, Group 2, 1,600 metres, Paul. And this is a nice field, isn't it? I like this field.
Yeah, it is indeed. And we find Prix de Feu at the top of the market, 4.8. Vernon Me, 480 out to 550. Demonetisation, $6. Touch 5, just out to 550 now. The Perfect Pink, 650. Cheaper Than Divorce, 750 into 7. Gospodin, 750 out to 8. Gino Severini, 850 out to 9. Deerfield, 16s into 14s. Les Sablier, 12 out to 14. Harlech, 21s out to 31s. And I'm a Rockaby, 41, now 61.
Jeepers BP, I think we're on a soft 5 at the moment up there at Tauranga, and a little bit of rain about, so there could be a little bit to play out here, but I think you could build a case for about 6 to 8 to 10 in this field, and I wouldn't say you were crazy.
Yeah, look, I think we need to mention the rain because this is an important thing here with how much rain is falling, because what I've seen here today, as we either, if you're watching this live Friday or recorded, is that it's supposed to rain all day today. Now, there is some rain in the forecast for Saturday too. So where does this track get to? It's a soft 5. They've had 16 mils of rain in the last 7 days, but the likelihood that it's going to keep raining all day today and some tomorrow really changes the dimensions of this race. I think horses like Prix de Feu then become horses that won't appreciate that type of track condition. We know once it gets into heavy for him, he's no go. He ran like that in the Livermore when what was a testing track. He can sort of handle it in that soft bracket, but that would be a concern for me with Prix de Feu. I mean, I like the Perfect Pink, but I'm not betting yet on the Perfect Pink because of that likelihood of a track condition getting into that zone. I mean, her run was terrific. It was so good last time to the races and behind Dawn Jessie. It just stood up and said, back me next time to the races, and I'm going to be there for you. But I just don't know if I can back her just now with the track condition in limbo land. So look, I think there are horses that you can sort of back with some confidence. Is Demonetisation. We know he can get through wet ground. I also say that with a little bit of caution too, because you think of his Hawke's Bay runs, they were below par, weren't they? His Foxbridge run was on point. It was really good, wasn't it? It was flashing home, and it said, yes, he's ready for a Tarzino and also for the middle day, moving into the Livermore, wherever what sort of angle they take. But when he gets away from home, he's not at his best. He does have a record here at Tauranga. But yeah, as I said, the heavy track conditions, maybe his best form's now as an older horse on top of the ground, because he ran third on an improving track at Pookie, and we know that he ran that Group 1 fourth on Boxing Day on a good 3 surface in the Zabeel. But I think he still has to be respected with how he's run some of his better races. I'm starting to look towards Gospodin. Now, Gospodin is a horse who loves wet ground. I know it's first time over 1,600 metres, locally trained by Jim Pender. This might be the right time to see him over 1,600 metres because he'll get track conditions to suit.
Yeah, his run was good last time behind Malt Time as well, BP resuming.
It was.
Sorry, second up. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So he's run first up behind Bonnie Lass, which was terrific, down the centre part of the track on a firmish surface. It was improving throughout the day. Then on the good 4 last time out behind Malt Time. And you've only got to take over Target. It was a race that he was placed in through his Australian preparation. So he has the good form lines, does Gospodin, and he's got a low draw. So it's just a question mark of him pushing up to the 1,600 metres. But yeah, he looks a bet if that rain hangs about and it really pushes that track condition to sort of a 7, 8 and beyond.
But Paulie, no deductions would be the first thing we can say about...
That's exactly right. No deductions, no surprises, Thad. And I'm guessing that's been factored in around the money we've seen for demonetisation already.
Yep.
Taking the fact that the weather's going to not be ideal,
Yep.
And we probably have a deteriorating track, and we may see someone like a Prix de Feu decide not to turn up if we do get that heavy 10 sort of range.
Yep.
And then you've locked in demonetisation at around 6, 550 or 5. So I'm fairly sure that's that has been one of the factors that punters have taken into account when backing demonetisation. And as BP said, Gospodin, crikey.
So they're the two then for you as well. You're thinking if you're going to have a bet right now, it's demonetisation and Gospodin.
I'm willing to roll the dice and say that the track will probably be heavy by the time we get to the Garshore.
Yeah, okay. Pops, just quickly surmise it for us. You'd be just going demonetisation and Gospodin potentially here and hoping potentially for a couple of scratchings. Not that we want to see them necessarily.
They're a nice split bet. I mean, we're looking at 5s and 750 around these two horses. If you're looking for a split bet in the race. There's one other horse we need to mention, and he's my old mate, and it's Gino Severini. And the reason why I mentioned Gino Severini is he did win the race here in March, which is under very similar conditions, except it's not a weight for age race, it's an open handicap, and that being the Japan Trophy. Now that was won on a heavy 10 track as well, over 1,600 metres at the end of his campaign. So that's just one little pointer to bring in, that he does have a heavy track win at this venue, even though his other 3 heavy track runs aren't quite there. But yeah, split bet, demonetisation and Gospodin.
Okay, would have been a cracking race on a nice good 4, but unfortunately, wouldn't it? Yeah, the rain about. But I'm getting the wind up, boys. So we've got a better wind. We better bring
again.
I'm always getting the wind up, aren't I? Yeah, I do drag it on a bit. Best bets time. We'll start with you, Pops. Where are you going for your best bet this week?
Look, I need to start swinging for the fences, to be honest, Dad, because I keep seeing them running second. So I need one at a bit of value. So I'm going to go for a horse. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, because I backed it on Wednesday, and it was such a heartbreak. It was really hard to watch. Oh, no, no, no. And a few more no-no-nos on the end of it as well, because, wowee, I mean, this horse looked ready to go on Wednesday, and it's missed the kick. It has missed the start. It's about 3 or 4 lengths away from them, over 1,000 metres, and boy, does she get into her work at the end of the race, and somehow finishes into 6th position. It's 1,200 metres on Saturday, 65 grade. If she can jump and be there with them, just be there, she's a chance at a really good price at 13.
Unlucky, he's unlucky, Pops. He's running second a lot. He's definitely due. Paul, where are you going for your best bet this week?
I'm going to head to Tauranga, race 1 there. It's for the 3-year-olds, and number 2, Kabuji, who I think was my best bet 3 weeks ago when he went round at Rotorua, and this is a race, I believe, where he fought on and just toughed it out, and I think he won't mind the soft. If it gets any worse than that, then we may be looking at a few concerns.
Yep.
But first race of the day,
race.
so
yeah,
we might just get away with it. So Kabuji currently 360, race 1, Tauranga.
Okay, Kabuji. And Steve's with El Venciador BP, race number 7, Tauranga. What about El Venciador? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, looks to be a strong chance, doesn't it? Was it second up, isn't it, coming into this race on the weekend? Rain about won't be an issue too, will it, for this runner? We know the horse can get through track conditions that will be there for the horse. So, yep, like what Stephen's done there, I can see why he's found. We got a price there in front of us, team, around El Venciador?
Paul?
270?
270.
Okay, 270.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll
So. Yep, that's good picking there from Stephen. He might have found one there. So, yeah, as I said, conditions will suit.
Plus 14%. And nothing greats him more than being behind you in that ROI, though, Paul. I can tell you that for free. Show wrap-up time. The Twitter poll there now. We're looking at boosted odds. Get on Twitter. Here are the 4 horses you can vote for. Cast your vote. Leave a comment. And you'll go in the chance to win a $100 bonus bet, but you'll also be able to pick the horse you want to see boosted. I can see Legato in there. I can see Starry Beale in there as well. So no prizes potentially for guessing, although in saying that, Maria Farina was a very well-backed favourite on the first day as well. No deductions, promos, Paul, as well. What else have we got? Enhanced bonus back. What's hovering?
Yeah, enhanced bonus back this Saturday, the first 4 races at Riccarton, Tauranga, Newcastle and Cranbourne.
Yep.
And just back to that poll, we all know that Legato will be boosted because Luke and the BGP boys will be voting like mad on Twitter.
I think there's no doubt that Legato...
That'll be one of the boosted markets, and it's just a matter of who the next best placed is.
Very good. So you're about to get a little bit more than $1.40. Thanks, BP, for your efforts. As always, enjoy the last day of Cup Week.
Yeah, mate, certainly looking forward to it, and I can't wait to run Legato through a number of multis with that boosted price.
Very good. Thank you, Paul, for your efforts. Hopefully Steve's back next week for us.
He'll be out of isolation.
Yeah, okay.
He will be.
Okay, very good. And also thank you to Aidan Rodley and Luke Kimmys from BGP. There's no doubt they have a following as well. Not just their bets goes on, bets follow as well when they're having a bet. So they've been a great addition to this Cup Week, and we wish them the best of luck with my teeth gritted slightly for the rest of the week. Thank you for joining us once again on the Leg Up. We'll see you in 7 days' time.